On today's podcast, I had Keala Kanae on. Keala has a very interesting background. He is an affiliate marketer who has done over $75 million in revenue selling other people's products. Along with that, he spent over $1 million a month on ads, and we talk about how people can utilize ads for their business. So whether you're a real estate investor, whether you're an entrepreneur in any kind of industry, this talk is very insightful, especially for a guy like me, because he talked about a concept that I've never even thought about, which is losing money on the ads. And so we go in depth of what it looks like to actually spend more money than the customer is paying you to get them, and why that actually can make you extremely profitable in the long run, as long as you're willing to fulfill on your product. And speaking of fulfillment, we actually talked about the risk of scaling too fast. Keala talks about how his business scaled way too fast and he had issues with partnerships and fulfillment. And it was a giant learning lesson for him as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. And just going through that kind of breakup and all the thoughts of anxiety and depression and, other things that we all kind of struggle with sometimes as entrepreneurs. So I appreciate him for being vulnerable and sharing a lot of these things that he's learned along the way. And I think you're going to get some real tactical information for how to run paid traffic and funnels for your business. So with that being said, let's jump into it.
Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest,
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
innovate,
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
and inspire.
I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, I have got a guy who is the master of paid traffic and ads. And the reason I want to bring him on is because I suck at that as of recently. I have never really been great at it. And, we've finally started doing it and implementing it. And he, pretty much reached out to me after 3 months ago meeting. And he said, dude, I see you're running paid ads now. Like, how's it going? Because it's kind of a running joke between me and the internet marketers that I just haven't done it and still been successful, which is like mind-blowing to most people. But nonetheless, I want to bring him on because this man has spent over $1 million a month doing ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, you name it. His company has generated over $75 million in revenue. And so, when it comes to buying media, this guy knows what's up. So I've got none other than Keala Kanae.
Thank you, brother.
I said it right, right?
You said it right, man.
Yeah.
You're like the first person to say it right.
Dude. So we met at an event about 3 months ago, and you were like, yeah, I live in Vegas. I was like, oh, tight, dude. I live in Vegas. And people actually told me, they were like, you got to go meet him because he knows how to run ads. Because that was kind of why I went to the event. I'm like, I suck at running ads. Like, I need help. Who can kind of point me in the right direction? And they said, you're the master, dude.
So I remember that you walked up to the table. We were sitting there smoking some cigars, me and some of the guys.
Yeah.
You walked up and you're like, hey, so they say some people told me that you're the guy to talk to about paid media. I was like, oh, put me on the spot. I got one bourbon down and I'm having a cigar, But yeah, so that's how we met. We got to talking about it. I don't know if I'd call myself the master of paid ads, but I do love paid traffic, paid marketing. And it's basically how I cut my teeth originally. And then now I own I'm partners on an agency where we run primarily Facebook ads currently, and we're spending about $1 million a month on ads there as well. So I have a CEO that runs that business. He actually started out as my original media buyer, sat next to me in an office when there was just a couple of people. I taught him everything that I was doing, and eventually he got better at it than I did. Now he runs the agency.
That's awesome. So how'd you get to this point, dude? Like, what were you doing before you were running ads and paid traffic?
So, I started out as an entrepreneur. My first business was in right out of high school, going into college. Some friends of mine and I used to throw these hotel parties, and we figured out that you could get paid to throw parties doing nightclub promotions. So we tried to get into that. I failed at that for 3 years. Then I tried network marketing, MLMs, all sorts of stuff, options trading, Forex.
Did you ever try wholesaling in real estate?
I learned about it, bro, but I just never quite had the guts to I even went out in Hawaii and was going to all the for sale by owner listings and talking to owners and stuff and trying to cut deals. And I just never stuck with it long enough, to be honest. And then fast forward about 12 years later, 2012, I'm working in a coffee shop for minimum wage. I start learning about this whole affiliate marketing thing. At the time, I had given my girlfriend somebody else's trash for her birthday. My mom was like, I literally had nothing, no money to get her anything. My mom had a cardboard box full of old purses. She was taking down to Goodwill for a friend of hers. I went in that cardboard box and I found my girlfriend's birthday gift. That was 2012.
Wow. That's
and
crazy.
then I was like, I got to do something different. Started learning about paid ads. About 7 months after that, I quit my job, had my first 5-figure month as an affiliate marketer. Continued to build an affiliate marketing business all the way through 2016. And then at the end of 2016, I launched my courses and coaching business, which was like teaching people affiliate marketing. Because that's what I was getting hit up about the most, was always like, show me what you're doing, how you're doing it, this sort of thing.
Right.
So we turned that into a business in itself. And that's what took off and has done about 75 million in sales.
So for those who are listening who don't really understand how affiliate marketing can make so much money, kind of explain how that goes.
Yeah, so I like the affiliate marketing model. I think everybody's a bit biased towards, whatever they first had success in. But affiliate marketing as a model is pretty simple. It means like I don't have to have a product or a service. I don't have to invent a business or do anything different. All I do is sell somebody else's product or service, and I get paid a commission to do it.
Right.
Super simple. So it takes one of the things that I liked about it, learning when I was first getting into it, is one of the epiphanies I had is, as an entrepreneur, I thought, oh, well, what's a good idea I can come up with, or what's a good service that I can offer? And I think that we tend to think that we have to like create something that's brand new and different in order to have a business. And I used to tell myself all the time, oh, all the good ideas are taken. And I hear that from other like early stage entrepreneurs as well. And then when I found affiliate marketing, it meant that I didn't have to do any of the fulfillment. I didn't have to create any products. I didn't have to create any services. Didn't have to do customer hassles. Didn't have to do any of that. All I had to do was get them customers, and I'd get paid per customer that I sent, basically.
Right. Yeah, and that's something for me that kind of I've shifted my view on, because I've been on the side where people are like, Ryan, affiliate for us, right? But I've never built a business around being an affiliate. It's just like, hey, you get views, just promote our product, we'll pay you a commission, and that's cool. And I don't really do it that much, because for me, I always look at it like, oh, well, I already have all my own businesses. I'd rather promote those instead, because I'm going to make more doing that and whatever. But I do understand that like not many people have multiple businesses like me, right? Most people maybe have one core business, right? And so like just to take the real estate space, for example, at Future Flipper, most other education companies will do an affiliate for everything else that students would need, loans, taxes, softwares and services that they need. And they make a lot of money doing it. They can make millions of dollars a year just affiliating these other products that those people need that they don't even have to fulfill,
Totally.
And so
And we make millions a year doing exactly that. So we sell our students like other software, things that they're going to need in order to get success as an affiliate anyway. So we're affiliates for all of that.
Yep. 100%. So I see that a lot, and it makes sense, right? If you're, creating this product that is attracting, basically your product is coaching for students to teach them affiliate marketing, you can make the value of your offer, or I guess the lifetime value of a student, go up higher by, including these things they need anyway. They can add revenue. And you're not even selling them on it. It's like, you just need this.
Yeah, so it's not a hard sell.
Yeah.
Right? So they've already they've already joined the gym. Now they need the supplements, the workout clothes, that sort of thing. They've already decided they're going to go hunt for gold, and they dig for gold. Now they need the picks and shovels. You know what I mean?
100%. So how do you go about this affiliate marketing business? Like, we'll talk about coaching later, but like, what were you affiliating?
So I was an affiliate for several different things. I was an affiliate for the first company that I was an affiliate for actually sold a bunch of like digital courses and a digital mastermind, like a virtual mastermind. And so that was the thing that I took off with the quickest. I understood the concept, and then eventually I started to get into like more physical products. One of the products that we sold that did really well was the water ionizers. Mm-hmm. So, making your water more pH balanced kind of a thing.
Yep.
And we sold like we sold so many thousands of units of that thing that the company was like asking us to slow down. They were even changing the commissions on us because we were moving so many units. They couldn't keep up with the demand that we were driving in. So that was an interesting one. Most of my stuff, though, has been in either the money and finance market or the health and wellness market. So money and finance, health and wellness, and love and relationships being like the giant three, the mega three, because everybody wants to get laid, get paid, and live forever.
I've heard that from the marketing circle. Here's 3 ways that will never go out of style. Those people will always want those 3 things.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. So, I mean, you affiliate for these companies. Like, how are you driving traffic to them?
Most of the time, so I started out with Facebook ads. So at the time that I got started, so you got to consider this was late 2012, early 2013. I actually originally started with a strategy called solo ads, which is like let's say you already have a big audience, you have a big list, right? You're probably not going to sell to everybody on your list. Most people, there's nobody who sells to 100% of the eyeballs that they have.
Right.
But let's say you have a list of people that are interested in the same market that I'm in. Well, then I broker a deal with you, like, hey, let me mail your list, and I'll pay you on a per-click basis or a per-lead basis. And so that's how I started out originally. And that got me a list, got me going, got me into learning how to do email marketing. And then eventually what I figured out, though, in that process was while that was working for me and it was getting me some early success, I'm basically taking, to a degree, I'm taking out somebody else's trash in a way, meaning they couldn't convert those people, and now I'm taking them into the same market and I'm trying to convert them. And you have the original authority because you built that audience, those eyeballs. And so I decided to go in the direction of self-generated traffic. So I moved into Facebook ads at the time. Facebook ads at the time were like the wild, wild west. You could get away with a lot of things that you can't get away with today for good reason. But they had, it was just really good. It was an easy platform to break into. You didn't have to have huge budgets. I mean, a lot of my campaigns, my test campaigns would start at $2 a day of ad spend just to see if the concept was even going to work. You could do really, really deep interest targeting. This is before they had pixels and algorithms and all the machine learning that they have today. And so Facebook became like the bread and butter. And we just dialed that thing in and it's a process of just doing lots and lots of split testing to find what works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 100%. I've even heard just like recently, what was it, iOS 14 that just kind of destroyed everything for ads. Is that true?
We didn't see much of that on our side. So we transitioned over to server-side tracking as a result of this, which allowed us to kind of work around that. Now, I can't really explain in depth exactly how that works because I got a bunch of the techie guys doing it and figuring it out for us. So for a lot of people, iOS, I think it was iOS 15, right? Or maybe it was 14. Anyway, the iOS update that came out was at April of 2020, and everybody was panicking and freaking out because Apple is big on privacy, so they're wanting to stop sharing the data across platforms, which I get why they're doing. I also think that they're doing it partly so that they can own all the data internally and they can run the ads themselves. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we didn't find it to be a big disturbance to our traffic at all, really. It was a hiccup, whereas like most people, caught the virtual COVID in their business. So I think if you really know how to play the game, there's usually a good workaround for it. Marketers tend to break things. We tend to push all the rules, and then platforms have to adjust their rules in order to protect the user experience.
Yeah, marketers, from what I have seen, are ruthless. I just have never been in that world until recently, because for me, I came as a real estate guy, right? And so everything we did was real estate, and then I became a digital guy, right? Because we sell digital products, e-commerce, these things, and I go in this whole new world of copywriters, email marketers, and stuff. And I'm like, you guys are nuts, dude, for what you're willing to do. And, a lot of it is, like you said, pushing the envelope, and then others is these guys just really don't give a crap about anything. It's we can make money doing this, let's do it.
There's a shady side of it for sure.
Yeah.
In the world of marketing and sales, I find that and this is one of my kind of beefs with the industry, is that all of the talk revolves around more marketing and more sales. Get money, get customers, get leads, it's all about figuring out little conversion opportunities, but there's not much talk about fulfillment, operations, keeping the promises that you make,
Yep.
customer satisfaction. There's not a whole lot of that, so it tends to be very one-sided.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned that the hard way. And then, over the years, we've created a much more balanced approach.
Right.
In fact, I'm going through something right now. We could talk about it later, but I'm going through something right now where I'm actually slowing down the marketing engine. Like I'm turning campaigns off to make sure that we protect the customer experience coming out the back end.
Yeah, 100%. So, you start Facebook ads, you're just pretty much doing ads for other people's products, right?
Correct.
And you're just making a spread. So, like,
Correct.
What's a typical commission where you tell me like a typical deal. Let's take the water ionizer, for example. Like, what did it cost? How much of a spread were you making? And then, like, what was it costing you to acquire that deal?
To acquire a customer?
Yeah.
So that was a company called Enagic. You may have heard of them, Kangen Water or whatever.
Okay.
So they sell a machine that's like $5,000. I want to say it's a little over $5,000.
Okay, so this is a high ticket item.
Yeah, and they have and there's a reason for that. And they have other complementary offers in their product line, and they have an MLM structure to it, but we weren't like at all focused on that. I was like, just sell damn machines, man. But anyway, so that's a $5,000 product. They would pay us a commission on that of right around $3,000, and then you could earn more depending on like how many sales of machines that you had. So you
were making 3,000 of the 5,000
of the 5,000, yeah.
Wow, like what were they making? Because they got to make the friggin' product too.
But they get all the repeat business from the customer, right? Because the customer has to they pay for cleaning, they pay for other filters.
So they're okay, maybe breaking even on the front to get the residual on the back.
Yeah, a lot of businesses. I mean, and I think this is, if you understand it, this is just smart business. Is like I don't actually want to make money acquiring a customer. We lose money acquiring customers. I intentionally lose money acquiring customers. I could talk about that, but it's a lot of these businesses, they just want the customer. Once they have the customer in the ecosystem, it's the lifetime value that they're after.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, we were making about $3,000 selling about a $5,000 machine. Sometimes we would buy multiple machines for them and their family. Sometimes they would buy other there was a turmeric supplement that the company offered at the time. Another big one that worked out really well for us was the digital courses one, because they had like up to $5,000 of product. And on that one as well, I would make, up to $3,000 commission selling their $5,000 worth of product. And the reason that like the products are high ticket is, so one of the lessons I learned early on was, when you're running paid advertising, there's a cost of acquisition. There's a cost that you pay to acquire a customer.
Right.
And so the higher the customer value, the more that you can pay to acquire a customer.
Right.
And whoever can pay the most to acquire a customer is going to win the game. And this is true in basically any market. Whoever can pay the most to acquire a customer wins the game. So think about Amazon as an example. You probably remember that Amazon was like upside down for its first like 10 to 12 years, right? They were in the hole, constantly in the red. The whole marketplace was talking about, why are people still investing in Amazon? Jeff Bezos was going out and he was still raising capital, and he was a proponent for Amazon. He was saying eventually we're going to have a credit card on file from every household across North America.
Yeah.
And today they do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whoever has the longest runway can launch the biggest aircraft. And he had a 12-year runway, right? So he launched a mammoth of a business. And he just knew that in the long run, if he was willing to lose money long enough, just getting people into the network, getting people onto the platform, then eventually the lifetime value would pay off. Mm-hmm. And it has. Similar concept, but on a much more micro scale in affiliate marketing is if I can find, if I'm looking at two different products and they both solve the same problem, but one is $3,000 and one is $500. Well, I can pay more to acquire a customer for the one that's $3,000 because I'm going to get a bigger commission. And if I can pay more to acquire a customer, I have more scalability in the ads, in the campaign.
Right.
And scalability is part of the issue. That's how you basically engineer the income that you want to generate. So we always kind of just lean towards high ticket offers right out of the gate.
So you're not selling anything that's below what?
Probably nothing below $1,000.
Okay.
With an exception of once I had you on my list and there was other ancillary products that you might be interested in, those I would mail to my
I'll
list.
go sell you some supplements.
Exactly.
Whatever.
I'll sell you $100 this, a $200 that, a $50 this.
Because you already acquired the customer.
Exactly. So now I'm just working on lifetime value.
Right. That makes sense. So for you, that $3,000 water ionizer commission, what were you paying to get that customer?
Oh, it's been a while. That was 2016. I would say we were paying probably around $250 to $300 a customer.
Really? You were getting 10x?
We're getting 10x on the front. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which you're not going to get that today. I mean, we acquire customers today for less than that for our business, but they're not paying $5,000. Like I'm acquiring a customer that pays me $100 and I'm paying about $300 to acquire that person at $100.
You're negative 3x.
I'm negative. I'm collecting 0.3 on the front.
Yeah.
0.3 ROAS.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast, then my guess is you're interested in real estate investing. Some of you are just starting out while others are trying to scale their business to the next level. But the problem is, with so much information out there, most people don't know which program or coach to trust. Well, I'm a bit biased, but I believe my company, Future Flipper, can help you get to the next level. We've coached thousands of students from all over the world on how to build their real estate investing business. It doesn't matter whether you want to flip, wholesale, or buy rentals. Our coaching program has everything you need to become a great investor. There are many things that we include with coaching, but to give you a few examples, you're going to get an accountability coach. These are people that have had success in their own business, and they want to make sure that you achieve success in yours. We also have all of our documents, our systems, and processes that I've used to buy hundreds of homes. You can copy and paste them directly into your own business. And we have events where you get to meet me, top-level guest speakers, and other students who are crushing it. My students do deals with each other, and I personally do deals with them too. In fact, at a recent event, I just honored over 20 people in our program that made over $1 million in the last year. So if you want to grow your real estate business, head over to futureflipper.com and apply for a call with our team. The call is completely free, and they can help point you in the right direction whether you work with us or not. So go to futureflipper.com and book your call today. For the last year, the real estate market has been on absolute fire. Prices are at all-time highs, interest rates are at all-time lows, and there is more money in the economy than ever. But with so much competition, many investors are sitting on cash, struggling to find great deals. If this sounds like you, then you need to invest with Pineda Capital. With my network and social media following, we get access to the best real estate deals all over the country. And if you're an accredited investor, you can invest with me on those deals. In fact, last year we purchased a 334-unit apartment complex in Georgia for almost $20 million. We expect it to be worth well over $30 million when it's all said and done. Our goal with each deal is to build in so much equity from the beginning that we're able to refinance our investors' cash out and own the properties together with little to no money into the deal. And the best part is, you don't have to do anything. Our team will find the deals, handle the renovations, get them leased, and eventually refinanced or sold. All you have to do is provide the capital. So if you want exclusive access to our deals before they hit the public, go to pinedacapital.com to schedule a call. We can put your money to work today to start getting you great returns. So go to pinedacapital.com now to get access to our deals. Let's talk about that. Why? I know you talked about lifetime value, but how would this play out?
So it's a strategy. I call it negative customer acquisition. So in 2016, when we launched, we blew up pretty fast. Within about 4 months, we went to over $1 million a month in revenue. And we had a few YouTube ads that were just absolutely crushing it for us. And we're selling a $100 product on the front end. And that's basically that product. The purpose of that product is to pre-qualify a buyer. Because if they spend $100 with us, then we'll get them on the phone. My team will talk to them. We can probably sell them more stuff. At some point, though, in the scaling process, you just cannot continue to spend more and try to make all your money back on the front. You're not going to be able to do it. If you want to keep scaling, you have to be willing to lose money on the front and know that you have a back end process or a line of products that are going to continue to generate revenue from those customers. So at some point, it just became the question of are we going to do this or not? So I'm looking at our data, looking at our KPIs, and we're making about $1,000 to $1,500 per customer that we generate that pays us $100. Within about 60 to 90 days, we make $1,000 to $1,500 total. So then I decided, we'll spend $500 acquiring a $100 buyer. This is in 2017. So now we had much more scalability on the ad campaigns because now we're not worried about keeping it at break even. So then we were paying $200 to acquire a customer and $300 and $400 and $500. But now I can start scaling up the ads from $3,000 a day to $30,000 and $40,000 a day because I'm just willing to pay more per customer. And whoever pays more per customer in the marketplace is going to win the customer, whoever can take the biggest risk, right? So yes, I'm losing money on the front, but I'm plugging them into a back-end system that where I know that we can make a profit in about 60 to 90 days.
Okay. So how long do you think it would take to get to profit? You said 60, 90 days. So are they just going through this $100 product? Maybe it's a little course training. And then from there, you're just basically having the sales team follow up for an upsell?
Correct. So one of the things that we do that I find it pretty unique because I don't really see anybody else do it is we sell a low ticket front end offer. And in the offer is included a consult with the team. Okay. And in the offer, when I'm pitching the offer, I very much talk about the value of you having that consult with our team members. And so, yeah, they're paying $100. They get a course. They get some access to, some additional a community access. They might get some software or something like that. They might get a few things done for them, and then they also get a phone call, and they book a phone call with us. So it's all inbound calls. They book a phone call with us after they make the purchase, and then the sales team follows up with them. Typically, we run them through a survey. So I'll kind of break down the offer for you exactly what the process looks like.
Okay.
So we run people into an automated webinar. They watch the webinar, and we sell a $100 item at the end of the webinar. Now, a lot of people have told me, why do you do a webinar? You could probably do it for, you could probably sell a $100 product without having to do the whole webinar thing for a 2-hour pitch. I'm like, yeah, I could, but I also wouldn't get as highly qualified a customer because somebody who registers for a webinar, shows up for that webinar, sits through a 90-minute presentation, and then catches the pitch is way more qualified. So we sell them a $100 offer on the front. Part of that offer includes what we call our, onboarding sequence. So during the onboarding, we take them through a survey process, and it's a 10-question survey. The survey is basically finding out everything that we need to know, like what is their prior experience in the industry, what else have they tried that didn't work out for them, what are their goals and dreams, how much money do they have available for startup capital, what can they afford as ad spend per month, so what's their disposable income. And then we send them to a video after that, and that video is about an hour long, and I pitch our top tier package, which is currently at this point $15K.
Okay.
And I talk about our coaching program, mentorship, it's 1 year, blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff. And then at the end of that, they book their call. Well, think about that person, they've bought something from me, they went to a webinar, they bought something from me, they went through this whole video, this survey sequence, then they've watched a 1-hour pre-pitch of our top tier offer. I tell them, hey, it may be for you, it may not be for you, but I just want to let you know all of the things that we have available to help you solve this problem. And then they book a call. So that call is now supremely qualified.
Yeah.
Then my team is getting on the phone with them. They're taking that call. They're walking them through a process, ask them a bunch of questions, figure out, do they really qualify for the program? And then if so, the reason I say it's about 60 to 90 days is because some people have access to cash right up front. And then most people, though, they're going through some sort of financing.
Got it. That makes sense. So, overall, once you really break it down, what would your ROAS be, over the next 90 days on everything?
I usually try to keep it at about 3.
Okay.
So kind of the happy place that we found is that, and this is kind of the financial model that we use for the business, is that marketing is up to 35% of monthly revenue.
Right.
Labor is 25%, and then G&A is 15%. And we just try to keep everything in those buckets. Yeah. So once I know my customer value, I know that I can spend 35% of my customer value on marketing.
Right. Makes sense. So you're trying to run at, 20% margin?
25%.
Yeah, 25% margin. No, that's great. I mean, all of that makes complete sense. And it's something I've had to shift from too, because, some of my business are high profit margin businesses like education stuff, while others like tax is not, right? And so we've looked at affiliates and everything, and we're just like, we can't pay them that much. Like there's just not a lot of profit margin. But, you know, with tax, it's different because there's not really too much of an upsell. It's like they're going to get what they get, and then we're waiting for them next year to continue with us, right?
Right.
So like our lifetime value can definitely be spread out, but we don't really have a way if we pay a high affiliate commission to make money on them the next year. It's like we're basically working for free, hoping that a year from now they stick with us.
Right. Right.
So that's a tougher model.
See, and that's why I liked affiliate marketing as well, is because like a lot of times, like we have a tax service that we promote. I get paid 30% commission on that.
Okay.
I'm taking home more than the owner
Exactly. That's what would happen
per
to us,
customer
too.
but I'm just capped at the amount of
The
customers that I
acquisition.
can send them.
Right.
Right. So, but between me and the owner, I'm making more than the owner for every customer that I refer to them.
Right.
Because they don't have that kind of a margin.
Yep.
So that allows me to take minimal risk with high margin.
Mm-hmm. And that's why affiliate's great.
Yeah.
But from the owner's point of view, like you said, lifetime value of the customer. So, you know, yeah, I break even, you know, getting this guy because I gave, you know, you all the profit. But, you know, hopefully we do a really good job on fulfillment, and this guy's a customer for the next 5 years. Right.
Yeah.
So
Similar here. We pay 30% to our affiliates as well.
yeah.
So 30% of everything that we bring in. So 30% of revenue, top line,
Right.
of whatever the customer buys from us.
Yeah.
Which, you know, on most months, we actually end up landing close to around there for our margin as well. Most months, but not every month.
Yeah, for sure. So I think all that's amazing. Let's talk about, you mentioned like scaling quick and breaking, you know, because for me, I'll say it, like for the most part, I've scaled my businesses pretty organically and like slow. I've never been like, yep, we're scaling today and like things are about to break. And it hasn't led to a lot of issues with breaking, but one business in particular did have that issue, which was Lunar Ecom. And so like with Lunar, we didn't do any paid ad spends or anything, like, but it's just the demand for it was so high. It was unexpected. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe this many people want ecom stores. And so, you know, when we first launched, we were planning maybe like to sell 50 of them or something. And I think we sold like 150. And like the amount of manpower you need to get all those set up, to get them operational and all these things is like triple the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just weren't prepared for it. And, you know, thankfully we're in a much better spot now. But to the point where I literally don't even promote it, because I know that like if I did and I started promoting it hard, we would kind of break again. Like we still are building out the infrastructure to be able to handle such high demand. And I have so many affiliates like you who want to do it. And they're like, dude, we want to affiliate like all this stuff. And I'm like, guys, I can't even let you affiliate right now because I don't even promote and I know I can drive traffic, right? Like I don't need you promoting too, because we still need to do a bunch of things behind the scenes that will be able to let us handle volume at scale. And so we've had to build out softwares. We've had to streamline different things. Like, you know, what works at having, 50 stores doesn't work when you have 400. And so that's kind of like our evolution, but the rest of the businesses grew pretty organically. But we haven't had to do paid marketing because of just organic reach. And it's made me think like, man, dude, I see why a lot of things break, because you could go spend a ton of money on ads tomorrow and get sales. And then you got this big fulfillment issue, like you said.
Right. So walking you a bit through that journey. And so we opened up our doors to the public in November of 2016. By March of 2017, so about 4 months later, that was our first $1 million month. So we went from zero to, $1 million in revenue per month in 4 months. And a lot of times when I tell that story to people, they think like, oh my God, that's awesome. How did you do that? I want to do that. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to anybody. The funny thing is, like, veteran entrepreneurs that I meet, they're always like, why would you do such a thing? You fool. And so I came from the world of affiliate marketing. I came from the world of marketing and sales. All the conversation was about acquire customers, paid ads, customer acquisition, what's your CPA, all these sorts of things. And I had never really had the conversation. Nobody ever had conversations with me around fulfillment, operations, team building, employing people, and none of that stuff. So we go from $0 to $1 million a month $1 million a month in revenue, and we have like no fulfillment on board. I'm hiring our first like real support rep,
Right.
3 months into this thing. And she's immediately just bombed with tickets. At the same time, we're trying to scale up the sales team at the same time because we literally only had 3 salespeople as this started happening, and they were backed up almost a month into their calendars. So we're like onboarding salespeople as quickly as we could. We're onboarding support staff as quickly as we can. None of them are being trained properly, by the way, right? Like I understand marketing and sales, so I'm training the sales team, and they're crushing it. But there was no real KPIs in place to manage their effectiveness, so we put them on the phone. And when I say manage their effectiveness, we could manage their revenue, we could manage the sales, we had all the KPIs for that. But what we didn't have a KPI for was customer satisfaction. How happy were they after they had a call with somebody on our sales team? Did they feel like it was just a high pressure sales situation, which is not what we want to create, but salespeople are incentivized to earn commissions. So sometimes they do things that, you wouldn't as a business owner, you wouldn't want them to do, but they're on the phone at that point trying to pay their bills and they want to close a sale.
Right.
So we weren't measuring customer happiness. We weren't measuring customer satisfaction. We weren't measuring our customer retention, like how long were people staying after they bought.
The true lifetime value.
The true lifetime value. I end up, this is maybe a side story, but I end up like going through this severe bout of anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide. Wow. I'm deep in it. I end up taking like 4 months out of the business where I'm like kind of present, but I'm not really present. And my partner at the time is trying to run things. Then eventually I step back in and I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, hey, why did we do $1.8 million last month, but cash went backwards? Like there's less cash in the bank account. That doesn't seem accurate. And then I'm trying to talk to the CFO and figure out why that is. And then he's just showing me charts and all this stuff and talking over my head because, I'm just a dumb affiliate marketer, bro. So he's like showing me these charts and these like PowerPoint presentations. And I'm like, oh, I guess it makes sense. And I'm like, but the cash is still going backwards. We can't keep running like this. How are we going to pay the bills? And how are we going to make payroll? And then my partner at the time was pretty tight with that guy. So, he kind of like hid behind my partner. Then eventually I figure out like if I'm going to be able to run this thing, there can only be one CEO. People can't serve 2 masters. And me and my partner were both kind of splitting the duty. So then I had to like push for the CEO role, which would allow me to be able to make decisions for the business. Now we're rolling into 2018. I finally get that role. I start questioning that CFO. I find out that basically he's just way in over his head, has never scaled a business this fast before, does not understand at all what he's doing. And here's a funny story. So in that whole process, I'd given him power of attorney. Both me and my partner had, because he was reviewing so many legal documents and hiring people and contractors and all these sorts of things that he was dealing with as we were scaling so quickly that we didn't have time to review. Well, he had power of attorney, so he took out $1 million loan in my name without me knowing it to help keep the books afloat, to help keep everything.
Wow.
So we're doing $1.8 million a month in revenue, and I'm losing $300,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of that was just the result of scaling way too fast, not having the systems and processes, not having operations dialed in. Everybody's response to every problem was, hire someone, right? So you figure you got this ship, it's sailing, and it's sailing at, hundreds of miles an hour across the sea. It's never set sail before. And its first trip, it's in stormy weather. You eventually find holes in the ship, and everybody's, thought process is hire somebody and have them put their hands over the holes. It's hiring can't be the way that we solve every single problem. But it just fast growth, my own inadequacy as a CEO, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And then, it cost me millions of dollars in lost revenue, lost sales, lost cash.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm grateful for it. We came out the other end. Eventually, my partner and I split. A lot of that financial pressure being part of the reason that we split. And I was able to, buy him out at the end of 2018, rebrand the company in 2019. And I learned a lot from all of those mistakes. And so when we rebranded the company, I took a very, very different approach. So we spent the next 2 years really dialing in all of the operations. I cut the team by like more than 60%. I cut down our revenue quite a bit on purpose. And I was just hyper focused on the team with like dial in the operations, dial in our fulfillment processes, measure our retention, measure our net promoter score, customer satisfaction. And we're not scaling this thing again until we can keep the promises that we're making to customers.
Right.
And so that's been a big transition for us. And, in the process, I think that like those 2 years of chaos really were like, a master's degree in business versus anything that I could have paid for at a college.
Yeah. You go through all these real world, issues. It teaches you a lot of lessons. It's funny because we were talking about Sam Ovens earlier, and I talked to him, at a last mastermind, and he's been pretty transparent about it. He was saying the same thing, like consulting.com for him grew really fast, way faster than he predicted. He went to have like 60 employees or something, and they were doing $3 million a month. And then, all of a sudden they just were not really making money, and the customer fulfillment wasn't great. And, sure enough, now a couple years later, he's remade it, and, he has less revenue, less stress, but way higher margins, way better fulfillment. And, it just makes me realize like, yeah, at the end of the day, you've got to think about, the customer experience for what you're selling. And we kind of forget that as internet marketers anyways, of like, if they don't have good fulfillment, you're going to have some major issues. It doesn't matter how good you are at selling.
I realized in that process that like we became, it was a dog chasing its tail. Like at some point, if there's no retention, then acquisition is only meeting attrition, meaning we're only acquiring customers at the same rate that we're losing customers, which at that point, we're making no real forward progress. And I don't have a business that's going to stand the test of time at that point, right? So if I'm too hyper-focused on acquire customers, and eventually attrition is happening at the same rate as acquisition, I am now on a treadmill with the illusion that I'm moving forward because revenue is still coming through the door. But there's no real forward momentum. There's no long-term, that's just not how you run a long-term business, and I'm trying to be around for a long time. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because as I've gotten into the internet marketing space, I meet these guys, and you're right. Like they talk about like these new products and things and different, it's like, but they have no plan for like the long term. They're like, yeah, this is today. They just, we'll get this product today, and whatever happens after that happens. And like, whenever I build a business, I'm thinking, okay, is this business going to be around here in like the next 10 years? If not, I don't want to start it. Like,
exactly.
What's the point? What am I building towards?
Exactly. There's a lot of short-sightedness in the world of entrepreneurship, I find, maybe even more so in the world of like internet marketing. And
yeah. And I think it becomes like, and you said it best, right? Amazon had the longest time horizon. They were like, yeah, I'm willing, because we're in this for the next 12 years. Like, if I can get everyone's data in the next 12 years, we're going to win. And I thought about that with content and everything. Like, I went into it like, yeah, growing a following's hard. But if you give me 10 years from now and I put out content every day and I put out podcasts every week, I'm going to get better and people are going to come. And, thankfully, it's happened way quicker than I thought. But even still, I've taken that approach with every business of like, look, if I just take the right micro actions every day, in the long run, it'll look really good. But people forget that. They're just like, what do I got to do to make money right now, this very moment? And then they sacrifice the long term for it. As the world starts to go more digital, you need to be aware of which businesses are going to thrive in the future. One of the obvious ones is e-commerce. In fact, last year, e-commerce sales did over $4 trillion globally, and it's continuing to grow. Now, if you're like most people, you probably don't have time to learn a whole new industry and start a new business. But there is another way. You could partner with us at Lunar Ecom. We have over 300 e-commerce stores that we have created and managed for our clients. And the best part is, it's completely passive on their end. The business model is very simple. You cover the cost of creating and running the store. We handle everything else. We pick the products, we handle fulfillment, returns, and customer satisfaction. After all that, we split profits at the end of the month. This means that when you win, we win. If you want to learn more about how it works, you can watch our case study at lunarecom.com. I believe that the e-commerce space is going to continue to explode as the world goes digital. So make sure you're with the right partner who's going to be ahead of those trends. So go schedule a call with my team today at lunarecom.com if you want to learn about how we can start taking your passive income to the moon. Most people want to get rich at all costs. They make sacrifices with their family, their health, and their faith, all in the pursuit of money without even realizing it. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? What if you could grow your wealth in all areas of life? Well, it's possible, and that's why I created The Wealthy Way. It's a community of people striving to grow together in all areas. And we have multiple tools for you to use that are completely free. You can get access to the Wealthy Way Planner, where you can set goals and hold yourself accountable on a daily basis. We also have our Wealth Builder Academy, which is over 4 hours of content teaching you how to manage your time, create the right goals, and all the biggest secrets I've used to grow my life, not only in my net worth, but in all aspects. Lastly, we have our Discord community where thousands of wealth builders are all over the world encouraging one another and growing together. And once again, all of this is completely free. There are no upsells, there are no hidden catches. For me, this is a passion project and I want to build a community of like-minded people. So if you want to start living the wealthy way today, go to wealthyway.com. There you can get all the free resources like the course, planner, and Discord community. So go to wealthyway.com.
It's funny because you're transitioning into paid ads. You're figuring that out with your team, right? And I think there's some really good benefits to that, obviously. And me and my team, we're figuring out the whole organic thing. Like, we feel like we missed a huge opportunity because we were never focused on organic. We were only focused on paid. And when I look back now to 2017, had I started on organic then, I mean, here's the thing, is that we'd probably be doing double the revenue that we're currently doing. Plus, my net CPA, my final cost per customer, would probably be a lot lower as well, because the organic traffic is essentially $0. Mm-hmm. It's supporting probably the paid traffic, and the paid traffic is supporting the organic growth as well. But now, when we got customers coming through the front door off of organic, and let's just say that it's 50-50. We have as many people coming through organic channels as we do through paid channels. Well, then my net CPA now is 50% of what it currently is today, where 100% of my customers come through paid channels, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. And this is the debate we had, actually. I was at the War Room Mastermind, and, we're talking to Sam Ovens, this guy, Rudy. If you don't follow Rudy, he's like
Rudy Maurer.
Yeah, he's got all his red gear everywhere on Instagram, and another guy, Bill Hauser. And we were having the debate of like organic versus paid. Right. And it's not like it's a debate, because both are good. But like my whole thing was, look, if you were to start pretty much what you just said, if you were to start something, say in 2022, right now, this very moment, you don't do either organic or paid. To me, if you look at 2025, if you were to have taken both approaches, the organic approach would produce far bigger benefits in 2025 than 2021 or 2022, right? Because you got this following, it costs you nothing to acquire a customer, and the moment you want to turn paid on, you can do it, and it's going to crush because you're already known. You've already got a reputation. People can go search you and see all this content you've done. They pretty much, everyone comes in like through your webinar you were talking about where they're a warm lead. Like, they already come into us like that from the gate because they've watched all the hours of content previously. But, if you go the paid route starting out, you got a better chance of making money right away, right? Like, that's the trade-off. But if you only stick with that for 5 years, you're always stuck doing paid. And Cody Sperber, actually, clever investor, kind of talked to me behind the scenes about this same concept. He goes, dude, for the last 10 years, I've really focused on paid traffic, when in reality, I should have been focusing on organic, like what you've done. And he's like, that would have been the smarter long-term play of it. But so many internet marketers and entrepreneurs know that the quick way to make money is through paid traffic. And so they focus all their time and energy on that. And then they pretty much realize like they're running on a hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's always got to be more paid traffic, and it keeps getting harder and harder to do paid traffic. And it's like, man, we got to do organic. And so when I go to these internet marketing masterminds like War Room, literally everyone comes up to me and they're like, dude, I've seen your TikToks, I've seen your stuff. Like, how do I do it? And I'm like, I'm trying to learn what you guys do right now. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. And the thing about how do I, they're going to ask you, how do I do it? And then you're going to tell them like basically, hey, produce good content and be consistent on the platforms. And they're just not going to stick with it for 3, 4, 6 months because they're not seeing the results as fast, right? It's that short-sightedness. Yep. And I agree with you, man. I think like, coming in from, I think it's a balance of both. I think you can play the best of both worlds. If somebody was starting out brand new, I think that you can do some paid and you can do some organic and you can probably build them side by side. But, it's the difference of like, am I going to chum the water every day? There's multiple ways to catch fish. Am I going to go out and sail out into the ocean and chum the water, or am I going to build a fish pond?
Yeah.
And every day I can just cast my pole in the pond and take a few out.
Yep.
And so you've done a great job of like, of building that fish pond, and I've done a great job of, I have really good chum.
Yeah, 100%. But you don't own it, right?
But I don't own it.
You gotta keep going.
They still belong to the sea.
Well, I'm like, these are my fish. I can go here when I want, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that, I love what you said too. So for anyone listening, like, I think you can start doing both. Just with most entrepreneurs, they don't do organic, period. Right? Mm-hmm. They're just like, yeah, how do I do paid traffic and stuff? And it's like, well, I think both, because 5 years from now, man, dude, having a pond is nice.
It is.
And the stress of not having to be like, I got to go spend money to make money.
It is. And your margins are going to be better.
Yep.
And you can put, like, if you look at our biggest expense every month is going to be our paid marketing. So It's eating up the most of the margin, right? So your margins are going to be better in your business. Maybe not necessarily at net, but if you don't have that customer acquisition cost, that's money that you can spend on other things like infrastructure, like teams, like this nice office and studio that you have here, and all these things, other things that you can spend money on that support the business, versus just going back in every day for chumming the water again for more sales.
The hamster wheel. So what do you see like happening in the future of the paid marketing and, affiliate space? Do you think it's growing? Do you think it's, going to keep getting harder? Like, what do you think?
I don't think that affiliate marketing is really going anywhere. It's just like, at what level do you want to play the game? Credit Karma sold, who do they sell to? They sold last year, a couple years ago for like $7 billion or something, right? Credit Karma is just an affiliate platform.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's literally just sign up to get your free credit score. Also, we're going to sell you every credit card and home refinance and car refinancing and every other thing that we could possibly get you to sell, because we have your credit score and we know what we can promote to you.
Yeah.
Right. So they're doing affiliate marketing at the enterprise level. And then the whole concept of, hey, if you send me a customer, if you help me make money, I'll break you off a piece of that. That's existed since the dawn of commerce. So do I think that affiliate marketing is going anywhere? No. Do I think that the platforms and the strategies are changing over time? I definitely think that that's the case. But it seems to me that like every time a platform becomes more challenging, so, Google in 2008, they had the big Google slap that everybody talks about, where websites got de-indexed like literally overnight. Nobody saw it coming. And so a lot of people that had spent years on SEO trying to get their websites ranked, all of a sudden had no traffic and no customers.
Yeah.
And then they became much more strict on their paid traffic as well, where you couldn't just send people to just a straight up landing page, like headline and an opt-in form kind of a thing. You had to have real content on the page. You had to have a privacy policy, like a contact us link, all these sorts of things.
Right.
So they made it more difficult for the internet marketers. Well, at that same time as that platform is becoming more difficult, Facebook is coming up in the ranks, and they don't have all of the same rules. And somebody else, for other marketers, the game is getting easier because they're willing to adapt and play the Facebook game.
Right.
Today, you have Facebook getting more complex. And at the same time, as Facebook is getting more and more complex, you have smaller platforms like TikTok and Snapchat that are coming up that don't necessarily have the same rules and regulations. So they're the wild, wild west. And I mean, so do I think that the game is changing? I think the game is always changing. And those that are willing to adapt are the ones that are going to win. There's a quote that the learners will inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves perfectly adapted for a world that no longer exists. And so if you're willing to learn, I think that opportunity is going to always be there.
Yeah, 100%. So what do you think about the current platforms right now? You said you're mainly on Facebook, right?
Primarily on Facebook currently, yeah.
Why not YouTube ads? Why not TikTok ads, Snapchat?
So one of the reasons is like there's a certain power to one, like getting like super hyper focused on one and just optimizing the heck out of that thing to crush, which is what we did with YouTube. So when we first launched, we were on YouTube and Facebook, and we were just quickly getting more and more traction on YouTube. And so eventually I'm taking more and more of our ad spend and I'm focusing it on YouTube. I'm focusing on what's working. We were paying a higher CPA on YouTube, but we also had a higher customer value off of YouTube as well. So they were just a better qualified buyer. When I took the time to like rebrand the business, I turned off pretty much all paid media for a bit, and all of our traffic was only coming from our affiliates. And there's different reasons for that. And then when we went back to like sprinting hard on paid media, we saw the opposite effect. Facebook started taking off for us better and faster, and our CPAs were lower, and our customer values were high. And at this point, their algorithms are better dialed in. The pixels are better dialed in. The AI is smarter than it was back in 2016 and 2017. So, because this is late 2019, early 2020. So we've just deployed most of our assets there. Only now are we beginning to like spread our assets out across YouTube. And then we're hoping by Q3, Q4, we'll be on TikTok as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say TikTok, like the cost per lead is so low, but, it's a bunch of kids. So it's also like, are these guys really buying anything? Like, what are we doing?
I have a competitor in my space who sells a pretty high ticket offer, like right about the same price that I'm offering. They're the number 2 or number 3 affiliate for ClickFunnels. And they sell a coaching program, and 100% of their traffic is coming off of TikTok currently.
Wow.
100%. So they're definitely getting sales and revenue through the door. Now, they're not doing the kind of volume that I'm doing off of TikTok alone. But is there a customer value there? There is. And the demographics from what TikTok was like 2 years ago to what it is today, like my girl's on TikTok all the damn time. You know what I mean? And she's got some buying power, unfortunately.
Yeah. She's buying some on TikTok.
So she's on TikTok all day. I mean, you and I are talking about it. Yeah. So we're opening up the doors to it and we're learning about it. You're already crushing it on the platform organically, right? Yeah. So more and more of the people in our demographic are joining the platform. So the buyers are there.
Yeah, I just think, it's a good point. I haven't looked at it so hard in like the last year and a half. But yeah, I think now the demographic is changing. So it isn't going to be just young kids.
Teeny boppers doing dance videos. Yeah.
And you know what? You got to give the people what they want. But no, that's cool, man. I mean, I'm just so fascinated by all of it. It's really good. One thing we were talking about pre-show was like ad creation. Talk about that.
Yeah, so one of my strategies we were talking about before the show in our pre-conversation a little bit about like my ad strategies that seem to have worked really well. So we launched in late 2016. We opened up to the public. We start running some YouTube ads. I had at that time probably 30 or 40 ads that we had filmed, right? And we tested a bunch of stuff that had already previously kind of worked for us on Facebook and whatnot. But one of the strategies that I looked at when we were really hitting it hard on YouTube is I looked at what everybody else was doing, and all of the ads were essentially the same thing. Like, hey, what's up? Are you struggling with XYZ? Well, I'm so-and-so, and here's what some of my clients are saying. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and click the link somewhere around here and go watch my video on the next page, or go register for my webinar, or go download my ebook or whatever. And a lot of the people around me at the time were saying like, oh, your video ads, the video ads are crushing, but they've got to be like under 1 minute, under 2 minutes max and all that. And I'm like, I came from the world of selling stuff, and I'm like, well, it's got to be as long as it takes to get the sale is how long it's got to be.
Yeah, there's whatever works.
Yeah. Exactly, whatever works, actually. So kind of these just, random rules people make up. So I said, hey, I'm going to shoot some ads where like I really take people, like I'm going to open up my computer. I'm going to show them what affiliate marketing is. I'm going to show them some proof that it works. And I'm going to help them really understand this business as a concept and really help epiphanize them, like really open up their mind to the opportunity. And so my video ads went from 1 and 2 minutes to now they were like 10 minutes, some as high as 12 minutes. And we had 2 ads in particular that just absolutely crushed. One got over 100 million views over the course of the next 2 years. The other one got 81 million views over the next 2 years. Both of them are what we call a portal ad, where it's just basically I'm taking you into my world. So the one that did the best was like I open up my front door. This is probably the one that people have seen the most. I open up my front door at my house. And, I welcome you in. I'm saying, hey, what's up? I'm Keala, blah, blah, here's my house. And we start walking through the house. I'm talking a little bit about my history. And I say, if you want to learn how I did it, let me just walk you over here to my office. I'm going to pull out my screen. I'm going to show you exactly what I did. And then I pull up my screen and I show them, I start breaking down what affiliate marketing is. Video goes for about 10 to 12 minutes. Just absolutely out of the gate, just immediately starts crushing for us. And some of the concept came from something I got from Frank Kern. I was at a Frank Kern workshop. And he said this very clearly, and it stuck out to me. He said, at the end of the day, people buy from us because they believe that we're going to make their life better. And the best way to prove that to them is to make their life better right now. So all of my ads today include some sort of piece of content in them, which I think this is why you crush as well, because you're so focused on content marketing, right? So that people are getting real value from you before they ever have to give you $1, before they ever really have to take any next action.
Right.
And so you're helping them solve their problem before you really ask them for anything.
Right.
Kind of the same thing. I'm just squeezing it into like a 10-minute ad video. So I'm epiphanizing them that there is a solution out there. There's something that can solve this problem for you. Here's generally how it works. And if you want to learn more about this, then take this next action. And that's just absolutely crushed it for us. And I'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I've learned the same thing as, like on the organic side, right? You can't just do a pure ad. It won't go anywhere, right? So I've realized, if I give a ton of value in a YouTube video and then I just say, hey, if you're interested in learn more, go to futureflipper.com. Like it's that simple. It takes 2 seconds to do the pitch and they got 10 minutes of value, right? So nobody's ever going to get mad that you're pitching or anything. And the video is still going to perform really well and people are going to share it because it's a very valuable piece of content. Well, I've done that for the organic side, and that's how we've built our business. Like just in pure organic content, we do millions a month. Mm-hmm. And so when we go to paid, it's the same thing. I'm like, okay, basically let's just boost our organic content. Like there's nothing really else to do because, maybe the call to action in the ad is a little bit harder, right? And maybe, we're giving a lot of value. And then at the end, I'm like, hey, look, and I go into a 2-minute sales pitch of like, this is why you need to join, like get the free consultation, like let's go. And I think that's now working for us because before when I hired other media buyers, I think they just had that old school, internet marketer mindset where they're just like, okay, here's the ad. We got to like do some goofy ad and get people to like, I'm like, why don't we just make good content that people want to watch?
Totally. I'm 100% with you actually on this.
Yeah.
Do you guys do any, like we call it ice cold traffic? Do you do any like cold where you like know for sure that they've never heard of you before?
Dude, I don't even look at what they do.
So one of the things that we do is, so we have like these, we'll call them like an ice cold campaign where we literally exclude anybody that's like visited any of our pages for as far back as we can go. So we want to make sure that we want to spend on getting new eyeballs on us. And then once we do that and we pull them into the audience, right, then we can warm them up with other ads. They'll go, they'll go search my content and stuff. So that, now that I have a YouTube channel that I'm actually spending some time on, now that I'm doing reels on Instagram, we'll get a lot of engagement there. But it's like literally the strategy is deliver my face, my message to somebody who's never ever seen it before, so I can pull them one step closer into the web. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas at the same time, like with all of the organic traffic that you have, if you're running paid, to that organic audience, you're also supporting keeping that organic audience engaged as well. So there's not necessarily a right or wrong to do it. But if you want to get out there and get in front of people that literally never heard the name Ryan Pineda before, which is probably fucking hard at this point for you, then that's one way to do it. Is just exclude anybody that's visited any of your pages or any of your accounts.
Yeah. No, I'll talk to my team about that. That's cool. Yeah. And honestly, too, I'm looking at paid in that way as well. Of like, yeah, obviously we want the paid to make money for the companies. But man, if going paid allows me to reach more people and help me grow the following too, dude, then it's a double win.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if they don't return the ad spend right away, like if they become a follower, I think they're going to buy at some point in the lifetime journey of watching me.
If somebody becomes a follower, they are 100% going to buy. The only question is, are they going to buy from you?
Yeah.
And that's where your content comes in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're really earning the trust of that customer.
And that's the other thing too about, the paid marketing. If you don't have organic and it's just purely ads, and then they want to go research more about you and there's nothing out there, like your conversions are going to be way down.
My conversions are definitely better today, and we're like proving this right now. My conversions have gone up since we started making a real concerted effort on organic.
Yeah.
Because now there is stuff for them to find from me organically, right? So they go on search for me. They don't have to just read all the people that call me a scammer so they can sell their affiliate course or whatever.
Right.
But now they can actually find my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and they can connect with me on other platforms and see that like I'm real and delivering decent content for them.
Yeah, 100%. And now you got this podcast to go and just show that content, your expertise, dude.
Well,
This is your VSL right now. I've actually heard people say that the next form of VSL is a podcast.
yeah. So do you know Alan Sultanic?
No.
So he runs a cool Facebook group called Nothing Held Back. And that's one of the strategies he's talked about in there. Alan Sultanic is a monster marketer. I mean, one of the most brilliant marketers walking the earth. Very, very, not very well known. Kind of keeps himself under wraps. But one of the strategies that he's talking about now is the podcast VSL. And they ran a podcast VSL on YouTube as a paid ad. They ran the entire episode.
Yep.
And it's one of the things that's converted the best for them.
100%.
Because the playthrough rate is massive.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, I see that as the future as well. Just knowing that, like, you could script a podcast VSL so simply to show your expertise, show testimonials, and all those things. And like,
On that note, I did bring a script that you could follow for me so that you can ask me the questions that will allow me to sell.
Exactly. This is the script, right? You didn't know. You just watched a podcast VSL. No, I love it, dude. Actually, speaking of, since this is your new VSL, where can people find you, dude?
Pretty much the easiest place to find me right now, and probably the place that I spend the most time, is either on YouTube. So you can search Keala Kanae on YouTube, and you'll find my channel. It's Keala Kanae. It's conspicuously named right after me. And then on Instagram as well, there's Keala Kanae. However, on Instagram right now, I'm not verified. There's like 50,000 million hoops you got to jump through to get verified, because apparently I didn't spend enough money on fake articles about me. I didn't buy enough publicity. But so there's a lot of people who pretend to be me on the platform. So just look with look for the account that has the highest followers.
Yeah.
That's me. And there's reels on there basically every day, almost every day. So
good. And where do they find info about the coaching program?
Fullstackmarketer.com.
Fullstackmarketer.com.
Fullstack Marketer. And that's full stack with a Q, STAQ. So FULLSTAQ.
Fullstack Marketer.
Fullstack Marketer.
Dude, are you going to give me an affiliate for it or what?
Well, I mean, if you want one, bro, let's talk.
There might be an affiliate link down below, but if it just says Full Stack Marketer, I didn't get an affiliate link. But anyways, dude, I appreciate you coming on. I learned a lot about paid traffic, and hopefully people can take this from their, into their normal businesses right now and implement some of these tactics and just like the big picture of it. Like paid traffic plus organic wins, and you don't necessarily need to make money on the front end, which is something I've had to learn, as a business owner, because I just hate that idea of losing money, but it makes sense in the lifetime value of a customer. So appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Cool, man.
Thanks,
All right,
man.
Guys, make sure you go check them out, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.